Utah Senator Mike Lee is calling on President Joe Biden to release imprisoned Navy Lt. Ridge Alkonis. Here's on the post on his personal account here. It reads in part, quote, "I refuse to believe that you're really going to let Lt. Ridge Alkonis remain incarcerated through Christmas, knowing full well he doesn't belong in prison. You're better than that." That was a quote. Senator Lee has been involved in the movement to free the jailed Navy man for more than a year, speaking on his behalf on the floor of the Senate multiple times. Now, we've been covering this story for years now, and if you could use a refresher, you're not alone. There's a lot of information to talk about here. Lieutenant Alkonis is not a Utahn himself, but he does have very deep ties to our state. His wife, Brittany, graduated from BYU, and several members of his family live here. Alkonis first lived in Japan as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, later returning with the U.S. Navy. And that brings us up to the time the accident and the diverging accounts of what happened here. On May 29th of 2021, the Alkonis family was driving home from a trip to Mount Fuji when he lost consciousness. The car veered into a restaurant parking lot and killed two Japanese civilians. His family says he suffered from acute altitude sickness at the time. Japanese prosecutors say he just fell asleep. He pled guilty to negligent driving and paid restitution to the victims' families in hopes of a suspended sentence. But even after an appeal, he was sentenced to 3 years. He spent more than 500 days in prison until the Japanese justice system turned Alkonis over to a federal prison in California, and that was a week ago today.